streaming from in today. And he represents Texas District 27, where we have lots of great programs serving, such as UT Rio Grande Valley, Teach for America Rio Grande Valley, Boys and Girls Club, and College Advising Corps. And we are so excited to have 350 of you, believe it or not, that's how many this auditorium seats, plus some extras who don't have seats, so thank you for being here. We have packed the house here at the Texas Capitol. And we also will have several other 100 AmeriCorps members, in the hundreds, tuning into our live stream today. We are having some technical difficulties with the live stream, but we're doing our best to get it back live. We have people tuning in from Laredo, El Paso, Amarillo, and the Rio Grande Valley, as well as other individual members statewide who couldn't be here with us today. So you are in good company. Before we get started and hear from some amazing speakers, I wanted to remind you of a few important things today. First is, as you might have heard and guessed from the video, this year it marks an extra special year for AmeriCorps. That's right, today we celebrate the 1 millionth AmeriCorps member to ever take the oath of service since the program became what it's called now today, AmeriCorps, in 1994. Are you guys excited about that? And of course, that means that we have a special social media hashtag to go along with the 1 millionth milestone, and that is hashtag, can anybody guess?
1 million.
Excellent, 1 of 1 million. Or you can also use thanks a million as your hashtag. So please help us document and witness this incredible milestone today on social media, and I think many of you do use social media. So please use one or both hashtags and tag AmeriCorps and One Star Foundation if you can. That means, yes, you are allowed and even encouraged to use your cell phones today. You won't always in your term of service, but today you can. We also encourage you to take photos today, either during or after the ceremony. There'll be an opportunity afterwards to come on up stage with your program, your friends, your groups, your cohorts, your fellow Corps members, and to take group photos. So we encourage you to do that, as well as selfies if you would like. I already see a lot of Twitter action going on, so thank you so much. Okay, you guys all set? You ready to go? Me too. Let's do this. So let's please stand and for the singing of our national anthem by our very own homegrown AmeriCorps. Come on up.
in the life cycle of our AmeriCorps programs.
We actually have 3,400 AmeriCorps members serving just in the Lone Star State. Those are from AmeriCorps state programs, AmeriCorps National, National Civilian Community Corps, and AmeriCorps Vista. How many of you have ever heard of One Star Foundation? Okay, some of you. Well, let me tell you, we've got a long history in the state of Texas. As far back as the 1960s, out of the office of the governor, no matter what party, there was an acknowledgement of how important service and volunteering is to the state of Texas. From 1976, the Texas Center for Volunteer Action, through 1983, when the Governor's Volunteer Awards started, to 2004, when One Star Foundation was formed by executive order and created as the National Service Commission for the state of Texas. There's been a deep understanding that the work that you do and the volunteers that you leverage in communities is critical to the fabric of our society and helping Texans in need. One Star Foundation is that National Service Commission. We have a $14 million portfolio of programs, 28 programs. So of that 3,400 AmeriCorps members serving, 2,400, we like to say, are in our One Star portfolio family. We are charged as a nonprofit organization at One Star to strengthen and support the nonprofit infrastructure, to work with state agencies, foundations, corporations, universities, and nonprofit organizations to really build and strengthen the nonprofit sector. We don't do anything in isolation, but by working across all sectors, we'll get far more work done. I'm thrilled today also that we've got some very important people that you're going to be hearing from. And we're in the most amazing place. Did you not love walking into our state capitol despite the construction? Just beautiful. And you're going to hear from someone today also who was where you are years ago and now serves in this grand capital for the state of Texas, as well as the chairman of the Texas Workforce Commission, who helped to start One Star Foundation. I couldn't even get him down the aisle because he was talking to so many of you to find out what are you doing, where are you from, and thank you for serving in our state. So thank you to our guests for being here. Thanks to all of you as you start your term of service. I'm going to tell you something right now that you're going to experience at some point, and you won't know it until you know it, and it's called benevolent exhaustion. There will be times when you are worn to a frazzle and you think you're not making a difference. But give yourself a break and just know that whatever you're doing, you're paving the way for perhaps someone else to come along behind you and pick up, and they may see the rewards for what the groundwork that you have laid. I am thrilled now to introduce a video, if it works, right? From Senator John Cornyn, our long-term Texas senator serving in Congress. He knows all about your work. And even recently, Emily, our Director of National Service Programs, was in Washington and met with him and talked about everything that you are doing. Another one of his friends is sitting down here, One Star board member Anna Maria Farias, who has worked with Senator Cornyn for a very long time, and she, as a One Star board member, is a great ambassador for what we do. But please know that from the State House to the U.S. Capitol, folks know exactly what you're doing, and you are part of a historic class of 1 million. So let's hear from Senator Cornyn.
Hi, I'm Texas Senator John Cornyn. On behalf of the 27 million people who call Texas home, welcome to the Lone Star State. For more than 2 decades, AmeriCorps members have worked to make Texas a better place to live and learn. From helping Texans find jobs and housing, to mentoring our students and helping communities recover from natural disasters, Your work has made an impact across our great state. This year is particularly special because the 1 millionth person will take the AmeriCorps Pledge today as new members are sworn in across America. Thank you for your service and congratulations on reaching this milestone, and keep up the great work.
All right, thank you, Liz. Thank you, Senator Cornyn. It was great to meet with him face-to-face last week in DC and just hear how much he supports AmeriCorps and the work that we do every day and how much he cares about volunteerism and the needs of Texans. So I'm really pleased that he was able to at least be here with us but by video. So next up, I'm really pleased to introduce a special friend and a special local VIP here in Austin, and that is Suki Steinhauser. And I want to tell you a little bit about Suki Steinhauser. She is CEO of Communities and Schools of Central Texas, right here in Austin. She has, right. Raise your hand if you're here from CIS. A lot of people. Okay, well thank you for being here to cheer on your CEO. And she has been serving this community for so long. She's been with CIS since 1994. And before that, she worked as Director of Projects, where she oversaw expansion of innovative programming. For those of you who aren't familiar with Communities and Schools, and I really wasn't before I moved to Texas about a decade ago, they surround thousands of young people in our region with a community of support, empowering them to stay in school and achieve in life. Suki oversees all of what CIS does, along with her Director of Programs, Erica Metcalf, who's also here today. And she has just a wealth of experience. She's been a great mentor to me. They do a great job with their program here, so providing supports to Central Texas students. And I'm just thrilled to welcome Suki up on stage. So come on up, Suki.
Hi, good morning. Is it true that there are people in Amarillo watching us? Is anybody from that was here? I mean, this is amazing. It's amazing to think about Texas being such an enormous state and all of these AmeriCorps members serving all over the state, and that we can see each other. So, hello Amarillo, and hello to everybody who's able to be here in our beautiful capital. I, right out of school, joined the Peace Corps. It was before AmeriCorps existed, so you know, I don't know if today I think I might want to serve my local community, but I joined the Peace Corps, and I was a teacher in Southern Africa teaching math, where there was a terrible shortage of math teachers. I had just an incredible experience. I grew so much. I figured out what I wanted to do with my life, and every day that experience is carried over into what I do with Communities and Schools. I was asked to speak on behalf of all of the organizations that are privileged to host AmeriCorps members, and so as part of Communities and Schools and these other organizations, I say to you, we could not achieve our missions without you. We could not help students in school. We couldn't work on the environment. We couldn't make sure that our communities were engaged and healthy and educated. And so AmeriCorps members, wherever you're serving, from the very top to the very bottom, or east or west of the state, wherever you're serving, you're doing amazing work that supports our state and our people to have successful lives in healthy places. I'm really grateful for your service. I will also say that even the people who know me best in this room don't know that while I was in the Peace Corps, I contracted a disease, a subtropical disease. It turns out it was a blood and heart disease, and I've been struggling with it all these years. And you know, fortunately, it is the disease of service. And so it's actually physical. This is serious. Every day I get up and I'm compelled to serve. It's a physical thing. And if you're lucky, that'll get passed on to you too. It's communicable. It's so communicable that my husband, who serves served with me in the Peace Corps also. He's got it. And our 2 children have both served in AmeriCorps, one with the literacy program and one with the conservation corps program. So it's communicable and you can pass it on generation to generation. So be careful out there. I really think that this is going to be a time for you to do, I hope, what I had, the privilege that I had in my 3 years in the Peace Corps. It's a time for your personal growth, that just as you are doing amazing things for kids, helping them stay in school, or if you're working with adults or you're working in the community in other ways, no matter what you're doing that's serving, you also are going to grow. And no matter whether you're 20 or 72, you're also going to have a personal journey of growth this year. And it's going to help you to know what you want to do with the rest of your life. And I know that AmeriCorps members go on to become lawyers and doctors and nurses, as my daughter is. They go on to become teachers, many teachers, social workers. Maybe they'll come and work at communities and schools. And they're going to be helping people for the rest of their life. This is a gift. See, AmeriCorps is a gift to our country, and it's a gift that you've given yourself. And so I encourage you that, as Liz said, there's going to be tough days where you're not sure that you did very well and you're really tired. Maybe it's that blood disease that you're starting to get. But you know, hang in there, because what you do helps organizations to meet their mission and helps our state and our country to be a much better place. You're all amazing. Congratulations for what you do, and thank you for what you do. Best of luck to you. And now I have the amazing ability to introduce a very special guest in the room, someone who has served in the legislature in Texas for 26 years. And he served in the Texas legislature despite the fact that he came to us from New York City, where he was born and raised. Elliot Maishtat came to Texas as a VISTA volunteer with President Lyndon Johnson's War on Poverty. He's represented District 49 in Austin for 26 years. He's my rep. On December 3rd, 2015, during the AmeriCorps VISTA 50th anniversary celebration at the LBJ Library here in Austin, Representative Maishtat was presented with the President's Lifetime Achievement Award from the Corporation for National and Community Service for his lifelong commitment to building a stronger nation through volunteer service. Come on up here, Representative Maishtat.
Thank you all for being here and for your service. Suki mentioned that I'm from New York City. She did. So some of you may be curious how somebody from New York City can be standing in front of you today as a member of the Texas House of Representatives. So I'll tell you how I ended up in Texas. You do need to know that until I was elected, which was back in 1990, it was written in the Texas Constitution that if you're from New York City, you cannot serve in the Texas House. That's not true. That's a joke. So when I finished college in the late 60s, I signed up for VISTA. There's the Peace Corps, there's VISTA, and of course, AmeriCorps. And the people in Washington said, we'd love to have you serve as a frontline warrior in President Johnson's war on poverty. And they said, because you're from a big city, New York City, we'll send you to a VISTA project in a big city. And they promised me an assignment in San Francisco. Yes, but you know the government. I never got to San Francisco. They sent me to Eagle Pass, Texas. This was not funny. We went through training in San Antonio. And during training, they tried to prepare us to be organizers with a mandate to eliminate the paradox of poverty in the midst of plenty in this nation. On the last day of training, the director, social worker, pointed to 6 of us. We were all from the East Coast, and we had each been promised Vista AmeriCorps assignments in either San Francisco or Portland, Oregon. And he pointed to us and said, "Oh, you 6, there's been a change in the plans. You're not going to the Northwest. You're not going to the West Coast. Tomorrow morning you'll be on a Trailways bus from San Antonio to Eagle Pass, Texas." And we waited for him to say, "Just joking." But he didn't. The next morning we were on a Trailways bus from San Antonio to Eagle Pass, Texas. And it felt like it took about, anybody from Eagle Pass? Anybody serving in Eagle Pass? Yes. Okay, I have to change all my time. It felt like it took 3 days to get down to the border from San Antonio. It took probably 7 or 8 hours, and the bus went down the interstate and then hooked right on Highway 57, went for miles and miles and hours and hours. And there were lots of people on the bus. We didn't see any people driving down to the border. We saw armadillos and javelinas, and the bus just kept going and going. None of us had ever seen that kind of South Texas scenery. Desert, shrub, tumbleweed, cactus. And after hours and hours, finally on the outskirts of something, the bus stopped and everybody got off except the recruits, the volunteers. So I went to the bus driver and said, "Excuse me, sir, we're supposed to be let off at the downtown Eagle Pass bus station." He looked me in the eye and said, "You putting me on, boy?" That was the downtown bus station. So let's fast forward. That year of my life in Eagle Pass in South Texas was perhaps the most important year in terms of my development and growth. And to make a long story short, I have been a member of the Texas House of Representatives for 26 years. And what I find is that I work as a legislator on many of the same issues that we tried to address during the heyday of the war on poverty, but not at the grassroots level, at a much elevated level, the legislature. And you never know what's going to happen to you. There are unexpected events, but serving in AmeriCorps is one of the most special, memorable, and important experiences you will have. I know most of you are out there now serving, and regardless of the sponsoring organization, you are helping people, whether we're talking about kids, teens, or young adults, or seniors, veterans. You are helping people who need a little bit of help from their government and from the wonderful nonprofits that are involved with AmeriCorps. So don't think for a second that what you're doing isn't tremendously appreciated and tremendously important. And as has been mentioned, you will all grow. You will all go through a period of maturation serving as AmeriCorps volunteers. But the people who you're serving will also learn and get skills and have doors open that would not happen if you weren't serving as AmeriCorps volunteers. So again, I thank you all for what you're doing, and I salute you.
Thank you so much, Representative Neistat. I've heard that story maybe, I don't know, 5 times over the last 10 years, and I never get tired of hearing that story, probably because I'm actually from Rochester, New York, and also came to Texas to serve as an AmeriCorps Vista member. So definitely see myself in your story just a little bit. And I now have the privilege of introducing our next speaker, who Liz mentioned earlier, and that is Andres Alcantar. Andres Alcantar is chairman and commissioner representing the public of the Texas Workforce Commission, or TWC. TWC's mission is to promote and support a workforce system that creates values and offers employers, individuals, and communities the opportunity to achieve and sustain economic prosperity. So I think you can kind of see the overlap there with AmeriCorps. He works to implement customized systems to meet the needs of Texas's vast array of industries and advance the development of a strong and competitive workforce. He promotes the expansion of industry-based partnerships that center on best practices to help workers and businesses achieve success. Let's give it up for Chairman Andres Alcantar.
Morning, everyone. Morning. What an honor for me to be here this morning with you. I truly am humbled to stand in front of you today. I certainly understand the road ahead for you. I've visited with so many individuals like you as I've traveled around the state, trying to determine the future path, trying to understand your role within your community, your future impact on our state, how you can build a stronger country. And one of the ways that you do that is by becoming involved, finding a way to make a difference, finding a passion, something that really lends value to your day, helps you define and really determine how you can move forward in a way that meets your aspirations, while at the same time helping to lend support to those that are less fortunate. And sometimes some of you are actually some coming from these families that are less fortunate. That's the really interesting part of this experience. It's getting a chance to work with your peers, getting a chance to help a future generation achieve a more lofty future, helping the baby boomers as they struggle through transitions in life, helping Generation X understand how to navigate from one way of living into another, to handle the difficulties that they've encountered in the last week, and the challenges that they will face moving forward given certain changes that are happening in the economy around them. What you're doing is very important. Is becoming a part of this volunteer network that has made our country so great. The beauty and the dynamism of the American economy and the Texas economy is really unquestioned and unrivaled. It's been a great run for our country. The understanding that here in Texas you have really unique opportunities around so many different sectors of the economy and so many different communities is something that we understand. But we also understand that as the marketplace occurs and that capitalism moves forward, that there are impacts along the way, that there are events that certainly influence the lives of individuals in different ways. It is important that we have some solutions that evolve from government. There are some solutions that evolve from the private sector. And then there's this core group of volunteers that work to lend direction to state institutions, that work to really build and support the actions of our local groups through our local workforce boards and other organizations that depend on volunteers. And then there are those organizations like AmeriCorps that really provide opportunities for individuals like you to go out there and help define how we can best conserve our environment, how we can improve the health outcomes of others, how we can make sure that the health and safety of individuals is addressed in a way that it is making sense in these different communities. As AmeriCorps members, you will be acquiring skills that will prove very useful as you move forward. You will learn to work together as a team. You will acquire skills that highlight the value of starting something and completing it. You will understand how to build and take direction, and how to analyze different situations and find common ground. You will learn to really navigate and mitigate issues that can, in a way that results in win-win situations for the different parties involved. All of those skills will be so important because employers value all of those skills. Employers value your involvement in programs like AmeriCorps. They will lead to greater opportunities for you, and your outcome will, your pathways in terms of how you move forward will be enriched by this experience. And the beauty of it is, you're doing this in a way that's going to help your fellow man. You're doing it to build stronger communities. You're doing it to make sure that we have a more prosperous Texas and that our country remains strong moving forward. You, as one in a million, are helping to make sure that our country remains a beacon of democracy, a place where there is opportunity, a union where we can all work together to make sure that we enhance the outcomes for our fellow man and generate a more prosperous future moving forward. I am so proud to partner up with the One Star Foundation. We've been partners since its inception, I guess over 20 years ago. These programs extend well beyond that. At TWC, we are a financial partner with the One Star Foundation. We see all the good that they do. We continue to find ways to try to support their efforts. We're really proud that some of you will be working with the individuals that we serve through our adult educational literacy program. We know that some of you will be helping our adults transitioning from temporary assistance into work. We know that in our efforts to enhance early learning, that you're helping to make sure that our kids will complete every classroom in a way that helps every year of school in a way that ensures success the next year and ultimately leads to successful completion from the 12th grade into a post-secondary journey with great promise. We know that you help us and will help us find ways to reintegrate vendors, helping them find housing and other solutions as a part of the challenges that they face. We understand that you're going to help us in terms of our programs that we operate to help elderly individuals go to work through the community employment services programs that we support. And we certainly appreciate all that you do in terms of helping our veterans who work so hard to protect our democracy and to ensure that we're able to find ways to live and maintain the quality of life that we aspire for ourselves, for our neighbors, and for our future generations. I end by saluting you, by thanking you for your willingness to make our community stronger, for your commitment to help your fellow man, and for all that you do to make Texas great. Thank you again.
Thank you again so much, Chairman Alcantar. You are truly one of our great champions here in Texas and helped us be who we are today at One Star Foundation. So thank you so much for your long-term support, and we hope to have you back at future AmeriCorps events. I also have to add on, though, to what you said, that I want you to look around because today, this is also the future workforce of Texas. And one thing that's really cool about AmeriCorps is it doesn't just help the people who are being served by AmeriCorps, it transforms the lives of all of these individuals in the room to help them grow their own skills, their own employability, their resumes, their skill sets. You all are going to learn so much this year that is going to prepare you for the workforce and or to get new jobs or better jobs or to do something that you truly love after your term of service. And there's some really cool research that just came out recently that shows that people who have done AmeriCorps are 60% more likely to do public service career as a career after their term of service. So about 60% of you out in the audience, 5-10 years from now, you'll be in public service. You'll have gotten that service bug that Suki was talking about earlier. And as you can see, we have a lot of alums in prominent roles in government as well, which is really exciting. And that leads me to kind of the next speaker, who unfortunately had a family emergency and could not be here, and that is Ben Botti. But I did want to send his regards. Ben is actually an AmeriCorps alum who works within the office of the governor. And he has a really neat job as education policy advisor to the governor. And so that means that he's taking skills that he learned during his term of service. He actually served with Teach for America in Atlanta, Georgia. And he learned so much about education and the school system and the classroom and what students are needing, that now he can take that service and apply it every day in his education policy work at the governor's office here in Texas. So we hope to have Ben back at a future event, but he did want me to let you know that he's going to submit his story of service and tell his story of service online at the national level. And actually, you can do that too. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of homework today, and that is to send in your story of service if you want to share it. You can send it in either on social media by tagging 1of1million, talk about where you are going to serve or if you've served before, talk about why you're excited about it, or you can email it in to 1of1million@cns.gov. That's 1of1million@cns.gov. And that goes for all of you on the live stream. I just want to say hi. I have confirmation. We have Amarillo, Laredo, El Paso, Rio Grande Valley. Everyone's on the live stream now, so they're following along. So hi, guys. Next up, I want to introduce our speaker who's going to talk about her story of service, and that is Karina Archer. I'm really thrilled that Karina could join us today to represent the Austin AmeriCorps Alums chapter and talk to you about how service has changed her life and career trajectory. And she's actually a native Austinite. Yes, those do still exist. So she served with communities and schools of Central Texas, mentoring at-risk youth at Webb Middle School. I swear I did not arrange that, that just happened. But she also then served as an AmeriCorps Vista member with Creative Action here in Austin doing arts education work. She currently serves there now as Associate Director of Development. So as you can tell, this has been a great path to employment for her. She is honored to be sharing her passion for national service with Austin and Texas AmeriCorps alums, and she serves as co-chair of the chapter here in Austin. So let's give Karina a round of applause.
Thank you so much, folks at One Star, for inviting me and Austin AmeriCorps alums to be a part of this occasion today. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Karina Archer. I'm the chair-elect for the Austin chapter of AmeriCorps alums. Our mission is to support AmeriCorps alumni and current members in Austin as they pursue a lifetime of service by providing opportunities for networking, community involvement, and civic engagement. So as Emily said, 5 years ago, I was here taking the AmeriCorps Pledge for the first time at the state capitol and embarked on my first year of service with communities and schools of Central Texas, serving young people at Webb Middle School. It was amazing. Through my community partnership with Creative Action, I found a way to share my love and experience in the arts while giving back. First as a teaching artist, then as an AmeriCorps Vista with Creative Action. I was a grant writer, a volunteer coordinator, probably some other roles I'm forgetting about, before growing into my current role as the Associate Director of Development. But I'm not really going to talk about job skills so much today. So like many of you, I joined AmeriCorps in part to explore my interest in working with youth and to serve my hometown community. I thought, well, I missed Austin a lot while I was going to college out of state. And if I wanted to do national service, I thought I really want to serve the community that I'm already really invested in. I got home and I wanted to connect with other people who were going to be serving in Austin, so I turned to the Austin AmeriCorps Google group. And I met this guy named Nathan. And he had just driven across the country from Maine and was serving in Austin for kind of a different reason from me. He wanted to get involved with a brand new community. And he also wanted to put his Spanish to some more use here in Texas. And it was our experience serving together, pouring our hearts into helping at-risk youth every day in a way that not everybody can relate to, and supporting each other through the long hours, the setbacks with students, the people who just don't believe in what we're doing. They're out there. And this ultimately led to our AmeriMarriage, as one of the Literacy First alumni has affectionately termed it. So through our time serving together, I found a partner and lots of really amazing friends too, who really share my core values and commitment to a lifetime of service. So I'm not saying that every one of you is going to find your soulmate this year, but I do believe that AmeriCorps really brings together incredibly compassionate, creative, committed individuals who achieve so much more together than any of us could alone. And it's the relationships that we build during our term of service, along with that knowledge and skills and confidence we gain, that propels us towards and really prepares us for so many incredible futures. So that's why I serve on the Austin AmeriCorps Alums Committee to help support all of you on your journey through national service and to play a small part of helping to foster this vibrant community of passionate people who continue to get things done in Austin and across the country long after our term of service is over. There's so many ways for you to get involved with Austin AmeriCorps alums. Join us for a monthly service project or one of our professional development events. Read our blog, subscribe to the newsletter. There's lots of great content. Follow us on social media, tag us and share your own AmeriCorps content with us that way. You can join the leadership team, get involved on a committee, and maybe, the most fun way is just to come hang out with us at one of our social events. We have them all the time, and you can really start building your AmeriCorps network and start connecting with current members who are serving for maybe different programs from you, and also alumni as well, who either served outside of Austin and now call Austin their home, or served in Austin like you, but who AmeriCorps has also been a part of their career path. So as a current member, you can go online to AmeriCorpsAlums.org to register with your local alumni chapter, Austin, and start connecting with us. And we have a table here today, you might have seen it on your way in, with some more information, and you can speak to some of our leaders to find out more. We really would love to connect with you all. Okay, so before I get emotional, because I really do cry pretty much every time during the AmeriCorps Pledge, I just want to conclude by saying that on behalf of Austin AmeriCorps alums, I'd like to wish you all the best of luck for a really meaningful term of service, and to say thank you for the really important work you do here in Austin and for our country. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Karina, and all of the alums. Raise your hand if you're an alum in the audience. Okay, quite a few of us out there. And there's a common misconception that if you are currently serving, you can't join the alumni groups and chapter. You absolutely can. Hopefully I didn't get that wrong, right, Karina? But yes, nationally you can join AmeriCorpsAlums.org and your local chapter anytime throughout your service to start getting engaged now. So we encourage you to do that. There's also great leadership roles. And for those of you who are on the live stream and might not have a chapter in your local community, we are looking for more chapter leaders. We would love to see a chapter in all of the cities across Texas. We currently have them in Austin, Dallas in North Texas, Houston, and San Antonio, but we need more. So if after your term of service you end up moving somewhere else, we encourage you to start your own AmeriCorps alums chapter. All right, and next up, we're kind of nearing the end of our program here. We have one more speaker before we prepare to take the Pledge of Service. So I have the great privilege of introducing our CNCS, our Corporation for National and Community Service, Texas State Director, Terry Gunnell. Terry is a brilliant strategist, a great collaborator, a friend, an avid tweeter, and he has a lot of experience both in Arizona, Alabama, and now Texas in the nonprofit sector, as well as with AmeriCorps and now at the state office. So we're thrilled to have you here, Terry. Come on up.
Thanks, everybody. It's great to be here today. As Emily mentioned, I'm the Texas State Director with the Corporation for National and Community Service. We are partners with One Star Foundation, Partners in Service for the state of Texas. This sounds like great Lone Star pride, maybe a bit hyperbolic, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. We are the best. We all are serving in the best state for national service in the country. We almost California's bigger than we are, but we're coming up close on them. We got them in our sights. So I get the great pleasure as the CNCS State Director of working with our AmeriCorps Vista projects and our Senior Corps projects across the state. Together, there are about 20,000 Senior Corps and Vista volunteers currently serving in Texas. So along with the 3,400 AmeriCorps members, that means we have over 23,000 National Service volunteers in Texas right now. Are there any Vistas or Vista alums in the house? We know, yeah. You know, there are fewer Vistas, you know, because Vistas do capacity building in comparison to direct service. So there are a lot more AmeriCorps members. So, you know, when you see somebody with the AmeriCorps Vista logo on, you know, they tend to work singularly, whereas as AmeriCorps members, y'all tend to work in groups. So if you see a Vista, you know, go up, talk to them, because they're probably a little bit hungry for some national service friends in contact. So always make that effort. You know, I'm thinking back to today, what the meaning of today, and I'm reminded 22 years ago. Like Elliot and Emily's story, you never know where you're going to end up. I ended up in Birmingham, Alabama, of all places, which is a place I'd never been in my life, even though I grew up in Atlanta. And we always, those of us from the lofty heights of Atlanta, we had this joke: it could be worse, we could be in Birmingham. That was the thing we said. And lo and behold, I ended up there to start the very first AmeriCorps program in the state of Alabama at an agency called Birmingham AIDS Outreach. And our AmeriCorps members, we had 42 AmeriCorps members whose job it was to provide home health care to people with AIDS. And that was during the days before protease inhibitors, during the days where, you know, the period between someone's diagnosis to death was 18 months. And so we had 42 members who were assigned to do that, and we were the very first program to start up, and when it came time for this big swearing in, there weren't enough AmeriCorps members in Alabama at that time to do an event like this, so we had to get on a bus and ride to Nashville so we could be with a group of people and sworn in. So that bus ride, you know, was our first week. It's where we all got to know each other. And you know, 22 years later, I'm still friends with these people. I'm still regularly in contact with them. And this week, we've had a flurry of messages back and forth. And Katie, you know, kind of saw me sit in my office and start crying on Wednesday because of the message that I got from one of them. And the common refrain that every one of them is saying is that this service changed my life. I know you're hearing that over and over, and it may sound like, you know, a little trite, but the reality is it changed their lives. They're entirely different people now than they were then. And like Suki, I think there are 5 or 6 of them whose children are now in AmeriCorps. You know, it does indeed pass from generation to generation. So that's why this one of a million, it's why it's so exciting to be here with you all today. And you know, we're with AmeriCorps and with CNCS and National Service, we're poised now. This is a threshold year for us for what we're going to be doing next, for what our next phase will be. And you happen to be here at a really exciting time. Presidential transition times are always exciting for National Service. We have right now the momentum. We have a president who is firmly committed to National Service, who's been committed to our growth, and who supported us in our growth, and we hope that that's going to continue. We've been really blessed over the past 3 years to be the recipient of interest from the Presidential Task Force on Expanding National Service. We've seen as a result of that the creation of some really significant new programs like Operation AmeriCorps, Resilience AmeriCorps, School Turnaround AmeriCorps. So we're seeing a kind of a vibrant new interest in AmeriCorps in national service that we really haven't always seen over the past 20 years of CNCS, and certainly the past, back to 1964, from the beginning of the War on Poverty programs. So we hope we're building on the future this year, and Suki, you mentioned 20 years from now for the 2 million. Let's hope we start cutting the time in half, maybe 5 years from now. So let me tell you a little bit though about what I mentioned Senior Corps and Vista. Let me tell you a little bit about national service in Texas beyond AmeriCorps. Senior Corps, I mentioned roughly 20,000 folks. Just to give you an illustration, Senior Corps, AmeriCorps has been around 22 years. We have a foster grandparent volunteer here in Austin who's been serving as a foster grandparent for more than 30 years. That gives you a sense of how long and what the great and noble history is of Senior Corps. She serves at the Travis County Juvenile Detention Facility. She gets there at 6:30 every morning, takes 2 buses to get there, and I think she's 96 years old. So she got, that gives you a sense. So when you see like your A, when you see them with their S on their sleeve, go up and give them a hug, because they're really doing. And if y'all remember the wonderful lady who danced, the video that went viral of the lady dancing with President Obama at the White House, the short lady, she's 107, and she's a foster grandparent. She's been a foster grandparent for 40 years. So that's Senior Corps. Vista, we have right now over 300 Vista serving across the state. We have serving Eagle Pass, Mission Border Hope, Laredo, all over the state. So we are really extremely excited about that. I mentioned how we're the best, but I didn't give you any documentation of that fact. Let me give you some documentation to illustrate how we are the best in Texas when it comes to national service. Every year, Corporation for National Community Service, ask elected leaders across the state, particularly mayors, county leaders, and tribal leaders, to on the first Tuesday in April, to recognize national service, the Day of Recognition of National Service. And in 2017, the date will be April 4th, so y'all go ahead and mark that on your calendars now. But this year, we had 526 elected leaders across the state of Texas recognizing national service on that day. That was way more than 100 more than the next closest state, which happened to be Alabama. So, everybody, Alabama's our big competitor when it comes to the Day of Recognition of National Service. There are 163 counties in Texas where we have national service members serving currently. And this year, 137 of those county judges had activities recognizing the national service volunteers in the community that day. And these are bipartisan, both parties, or however many parties there are, and broad array of national support. Also, I'd like to point out we had there are three federally recognized tribes in Texas, and 2 of those 3 tribal chairs signed on. We got our sights on the 3rd for 2017. So, that's documentary evidence of we're the best, and our elected leaders know it. They recognize it. I'm sorry, I'll chatter on. It's like we get excited about national service when we've Suki said when we get that disease. I'll stop at this point. I just want to say thank you for what you're doing, for what you're going to be doing this next year. It's an honor to serve with you, and I think you will find this year will change your life, and we look forward to being involved with you for many years to come through AmeriCorps alums and through the other national service networks. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Terry, and thank you to our other speakers. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce someone very special today, Justice Deborah Lehrman. She was appointed to the Texas Supreme Court by Governor Rick Perry in June of 2010. Before her appointment, she served as the district judge in Fort Worth, Texas, which is my hometown, actually Aledo. She served as a family law judge in Tarrant County for 22 years. If you know anything about family law, it's messy. It's about relationships, it's about broken relationships, and it takes a strong person to be able to navigate family law. Justice Lehrman graduated from the University of Texas in 1979 and from the University of Texas School of Law in 1982. She understands the populations that you are going to serve. In 1990, she was recognized as the Outstanding Young Lawyer of Tarrant County. And in 2005, Justice Lehrman received the Court-Appointed Special Advocates, that's CASA, I know you've heard of CASA, Scott Moore Award. CASA advocates are those who go in and take care of the legal needs of the children that are removed from their families or in crisis. She also received the Eva Barnes Award for Leadership and, I love this, uncommon contributions to the field of family law. She's the author of numerous published articles, and she received the Texas Bar Foundation's award for the Best Bar Journal Article of the Year. Now, this is a long title, but I want you to hear what it says. It's called The Child's Voice, an analysis of the methodology used to involve children in custody litigation. I can't imagine anyone better to help us with our pledge and to invite you to your year of service than Justice Lehrman. Would you join us, please, on the stage?
First of all, I want to thank you so much for the kind words, and I want to thank you for the privilege of being part of this very special day with so many wonderful young people who have really done so much and are going to do so much for our fellow human beings. It is truly an honor to be here. I agree so much that being of service is in fact contagious. I've loved the service that I've been able to give throughout the years as a jurist for almost 30 years, and I got that from my father, who was a doctor, who gave to those who could not provide medical health care for themselves. And I hope that I have passed that on, and my husband, to our children who are in law school and who are already working on access to justice issues for those who cannot afford legal care. Because if legal care is only available to those who can afford it, it's not available to anyone. But that is for people like you that I don't need to talk to about that, because you all know that, or you would not, in fact, be here. It will be tough, as our speakers have said, but I have no doubt that you will be able to go forward and do what it takes, because you obviously are the kind of people that can do that, or you would not be in this room today. So I must say it's with sincere gratitude for what you are doing for our fellow human beings and for the world, because it starts right here. So it is indeed my distinct privilege to be able to do, in fact, what we're here for today, and that is administer this very, very important oath to all of you very, very special people. So, the AmeriCorps Pledge is in the back of your programs, and so will all the AmeriCorps members and alumni. Please rise and raise your right hand, and please repeat after me, one line at a time. I will get things done for America. To make people safer. To make people smarter. And to make people more healthy. I will bring America together. To strengthen our communities. Faced with apathy, I will take action. Faced with conflict, I will seek common ground. And faced with adversity, I will persevere. I, and please repeat your name, I will carry this commitment with me this year and beyond throughout my life. I am a AmeriCorps member. Congratulations to you all, and best wishes for a wonderful year.